Hello and welcome to the Fearless Marketing Show. My name is Nicole Davidson. I am a marketing and mindset mentor, website design agency owner, mum of four, and I'm here to help you learn how to create an online business that works for you and help you make more money and just create a life that you really enjoy and that suits what you're trying to do. Now, today is the 20th episode of the Fearless Marketing Show. Now, I thought to celebrate this milestone, which I was touch and go on whether I thought I would actually make it here, but I thought I would run over a little bit around the things that I've learned, the things that I found enjoyable, the things that I have found a little bit harder around podcasting so far. Now, the very first one that I have definitely found hard is as much as I have to hit the 20th episode, it has taken me a long time to get to this milestone. A very long time, in fact. I created the podcast at least 3 years ago, and I'm pretty sure I would have to I should have had a look, but I think I did around 8 episodes and then I stopped. So I guess for, let's call it season 2 of the podcast, which I've been doing since 2025, it has, taken a fair bit of time to get back into it. I always knew that I wanted to keep going with the podcast. I didn't stop because I didn't enjoy it. I stopped because of just certain situations that were happening in my life at the time. Well, I didn't feel like my brand was called the Fearless Collective, and I just didn't feel like I was being overly fearless at the time, and I didn't really know how to or I didn't feel like I could show up when I was in a situation in my life where it was like really having to kind of like hide a lot of my life, or not hide it, but just I wasn't like out there and, the way that I normally was. I wasn't like posting on social media. I'd had a really bad breakup and I was just like really trying to focus on myself. And honestly, I was struggling to get through day to day. So the thought of even trying to record a podcast was like just never going to happen. And I just didn't feel like I could show up the way that I wanted to. That has been like probably the biggest thing. I did what a lot of podcasters do, where they kind of like go really gung-ho in the beginning and then kind of like taper out and fade off into the distance and don't keep going. And now there are obviously a lot of podcasts that do that. I did make the decision mid last year that I was ready to like kind of start. My confidence came back. I was feeling good, and I just knew it was kind of like my time to start getting myself back out there. And so yeah, and that has again come with its own challenges, but like that was probably the biggest thing, was actually that break in the middle, and then feeling like, because it was such a long time, like, is it okay to come back? Failed before, like, how am I going to go doing it again? But I'm here. I've made it to 20 episodes. I'm very, very happy that I have done that. And so that was like the first, I guess, hurdle. The second hurdle has been balancing my client work with the podcast. Now, the podcast, I guess, at the moment is a passion project. The Fearless Collective was something very much that I was like happy to just kind of grow slowly. It was not something that I needed to grow fast. I wanted to kind of really do it intentionally and do it slowly. And I have definitely taken it a bit slower. But now that I've created the podcast, I'm really trying to grow it a lot faster than what I was. But really still balancing. I'm a single mum of 4 kids. I need regular income that like that is something that I absolutely need. So I always have to prioritize the client work first. And so that would then lead to me, maybe delaying episodes coming out or not even getting time to sit down and record an episode. So that has been a pretty big challenge because initially anyway, so that kind of like has taken, I guess, pushed me into a place of needing to really try and outsource everything a lot better, or not outsourcing, but within my team, creating like processes and things, and trying to take a little bit more off my plate and giving it to my team so that they can like really just take a bit more responsibility and help me in that. So that, but in fairness, that has actually been a really good thing just across my life anyway, right? Even taking the podcast out of the situation, having these processes in place have just meant that I'm so much more happier. I've got a bit more time and I'm able to then take on more projects as well. So that was the second. The third has been I am doing everything myself when it comes to the podcast at the moment. So like learning things around like how to be talking into the microphone, learning the sound, learning how to edit. I mean, editing I did kind of like know anyway, roughly, but learning like the little tricks that I can do when I'm recording to make that editing process a little bit easier has been a bit of a learning curve. For example, when I used to talk a lot, like I still say the word a lot. I say so and I say but a lot. I find that I have these very particular ways that I talk that I don't necessarily want in the podcast itself. So when I am having to record, I need to be very mindful of that. And so, for example, if I make a mistake or I stumble over a word, I will stop and then I will keep going. And then that gives me a little bit of a break that when I'm editing the footage, particularly now that I am recording this on YouTube as well as just doing audio. It was much easier when I was just doing audio, including YouTube, and video editing has made that a little bit harder to do. And that has been a very, very big part, like learning curve in learning how to best speak so that I can edit things down easy. And it's not like too, like there's not such a big noticeable like chunk where I've like cut things as well. The fourth challenge that I have had, now this is first world problems, but I have had a lot of hard time trying to work out the best time to record. Obviously I would love to be recording most of the time during the day like this because there's a lot of light happening and that makes life a lot easier in terms of the lighting for the podcast, and I'm just happier when it's like this. But I have had it where, I'm so busy, like even just to go on, like the thought of going and washing my hair and then blow drying it and putting makeup on when I'm so busy is a hard thing. And then I like to go to the gym as well. So if any of you go to the gym, you'll know that challenge of like going to the gym when you can like wash your hair and trying to fit all of those like moving parts in. I know it is such a first world problem, but that has definitely been one that I have really struggled to do. So I've been really trying to chunk and be very mindful of my times so that that I know that if I need to get ready for a podcast, I can. Or also the other part has been just like letting go a little bit and if my hair's looking like this, I'm trying not to care. I'm just trying to get content out as much as I can. So that's been a big challenge. Another challenge has been in terms of getting guests. Not that it's a challenge to get guests, but it's actually me in myself feeling confident enough to open myself up to having guests. I feel like I did have a few guests on initially when I did the podcast. However, I didn't ever get to the point where I was 100% comfortable in terms of what I was like, saying to them, how I felt during the process. So my idea was pretty much to try and get myself really comfortable on camera, really comfortable in the podcasting space before I then go back to having people coming onto the podcast. I think I'm pretty close now to wanting to do that. I have actually said to people, opened it up. So if you are interested in coming onto the podcast, there is actually a form on the website, and I think it is the fearlesscollective.co/guest. I will leave a note in the show notes if that is something that you are interested in coming onto the podcast. I would love to interview you. But yes, I have very much kept myself away from bringing guests on so far, just while I do get used to doing all of this. And yeah, I'm getting there. I think I'm close to being ready. And also just that time, because I am kind of like just recording when I can, bringing in guests is going to just bring in another like part of that scheduling side of things that I'm going to have to do, which I'm happy to do. It's just, it's been school holidays. It was like end of the year, Christmas, trying to finish everyone's project. So trying to fit in someone to come in and do a podcast interview was just never going to happen. So now things are settling down for the start of the year, then I can potentially start doing that now. The final one is comparing. I look at everyone's podcasts that are much further ahead of me, and I definitely struggle looking at that because I want my podcast to be at that kind of like production level, which it obviously is not right now. And like I am kind of like improving it. Like before I would just sit at my desk. Now I've got my like cute little lounge. I've got like kind of like a bit of a set going, whereas before I just was like sitting at my desk, had the computer in front of me and just recorded what was happening. And so I'm kind of like slowly like making improvements, but in terms of the lighting, like the next step that I want to get is like proper lighting so that if it is nighttime, when I do actually have a lot more time to actually be doing recording, I can then do that, whereas right at the moment I'm kind of having to wait for natural light to be here. So what are the next steps, I guess, for the podcast is at the moment I am still recording off my laptop. I do want to go down the road of getting a proper camera and a proper microphone. So that is definitely something that I'll be looking at doing. And like I said, trying to get different lights so that I can record whenever I want. And more steps are bringing guests onto the podcast and really improving it that way. Here we are. I'm at the end of the 20th episode, and I just wanted to say a big thank you to anyone who has listened, anyone who has come on the podcast so far. I'm so grateful to you. I'm appreciative. I can't wait to do the next 20 episodes and beyond. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. If you are interested in working with me at all, you can find the details over at thefearlesscollective.co, and you can find ways. We have DIY courses. I have the membership. I have a small number of one-on-one spaces left for the year. And eventually, further on in the year, I will be releasing a group mastermind. But for now, they are the ways that you can work with me. Or if you're interested in done for you, you can find me at picassomedia.com.au, and we do website design and local search engine optimization, e-commerce stores, all of that fun digital marketing stuff that I love and I'm hoping to teach you more about. So hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for tuning in and celebrating 20 episodes. If you're interested in finding me on socials, you can find me at the Fearless Collective Co on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm on TikTok at the Fearless Collective. Have a wonderful day, and until the next episode, stay kind, stay bold, and keep being your fearless self.